Alright, hey YouTube. My name is Shannon. I guess this is my intro video. And I live in North America, you can guess where. I'm almost 20, getting really old. No, not really, but I just want to stay a kid forever.
My first involvement with the trans community, like on social networking and like online stuff, was just watching videos on YouTube because someone in my life was transitioning and I wanted to understand it. So I started like learning about it, and as I was watching like these videos of people transitioning, I was just like really absorbed into it, and just like I became like not obsessed but just like very invested in some of these things. And it was just strange because I was like what it like I'm not understanding like why this is so interesting to me. And eventually like that was basically my introduction to like kind of accepting myself as being someone who was going to transition. I remember when I was little, I wanted to be a boy, and I just didn't understand why I had to do certain things, and I just wanted to look a certain way. But I didn't really know what it was. Like, I knew something was going on, but I didn't really know exactly what it was or like how to pinpoint it. 'Cause I didn't really know that it was an option. Like, I heard of like male to female transsexuals, but I like it was just like stuff like Jerry Springer, like very uneducated type of stuff that doesn't really have much truth to it, and I didn't really think that you could actually do it. So I just thought there was something wrong with me, and that like my feelings were just kind of stupid, and I just thought I'd get over them. It's different for everyone. A lot of people just assume that everyone does the same process. But for me, I started on testosterone, which is just like an androgen, like a male hormone, and it basically forces you to go through male puberty. Um, and that was the first step that I took personally. Some people don't even want hormones, they just want to live their life and like be perceived as male, even if they don't take certain steps. Um, but like for me, I want to go like I want to get top surgery, which is basically they just get rid of any breast tissue you would have, and which testosterone gets rid of some of that naturally. And I also would like to have bottom surgery, which is like it's the sex reassignment surgery. It used to be gender identity disorder. You know, when people would transition, they would be diagnosed. And a lot of people were upset by this because, one, the word disorder, and two, because it was considered like something mental. When you're transitioning, like I have to take medicine, I have to do medical procedures, I have to do surgeries that some of them are like life threatening. It kind of makes sense to have a diagnosis for it. It's something that you're reporting on, being like, I feel this way. You know, people don't really judge people anymore because people have been educated about it. So I don't think it's that big of a deal if it's considered something medical. Because my name isn't legally changed, and I'm keeping my first name because it's unisex, but my middle name is like very obviously feminine. So I'm planning on changing it legally. It's just it costs like $137, and it's even if I had submitted it already, it takes months for it to like process. So I had to like go to each teacher and email them or talk to them in person and explain like this is the process I'm going through. I kind of just take it as it goes for the most part. I try to like separate my private life with like just I try to separate my private life and like school, but it's kind of hard when I go to a school that I went to last year where I was going as female. Like I didn't really look like I passed as male like even sometimes before hormones, like not all the time but sometimes. So it wasn't as if it was like this huge transformation, but it's still there's people that know me who I run into, and it's kind of awkward because I'm just like I don't want them interacting with the people that are meeting me now. So I kind of try to keep it private at school. I was really like happy and being like oh my friends are the best like during the beginning of my transition, and just like because people were I was expecting like people to be really weirded out by it. And then when I saw that they were like accepting and being like, okay, well, it doesn't really matter to us, that was like the big thing that made me happy about how the friend situation was working out.
I just feel like starting gender therapy is like opening this whole can of worms that I, uh, I don't know. I feel like it's just gonna complicate things, and I feel like I should focus on school.
I ended up like starting a YouTube channel, just to like I started it way before I started T, just to talk to other people and talk about like how I was trying to like get on in gender therapy and trying to start testosterone. And I slowly started like following more and more people on there that were transitioning and just like talking to them, and it just gave me like this area where I felt like I could be open with them about something that it's very hard to talk to people who haven't been in the same position. Like it's not that you can't talk to people, it's just they don't necessarily understand certain things. This collab channel that I followed that's Transtastic, that is basically just a collaboration of trans guys that talk about topics like every week. They wanted to do something that was more positive because a lot of the collaborations were people being really depressing and like transition is so hard and like everyone hates us and just like really negative views, which was scaring certain people who were new to the community. So this channel had the approach of like making it humorous and kind of like, like it is hard, but if you approach it with like a humorous perspective, it doesn't have to be like this horrible, depressing experience. So I started watching them, and eventually they had like calls for submissions. And I ended up submitting a video, and then I got selected to be on the channel, and now I am, and I've like met pretty much half of the guys that are on it in person, and I talk to them on like a regular basis, and it's kind of given me this like friend group that I wouldn't have had I not been like on YouTube or anything. I think the most frustrating thing for me, honestly, is dealing with social things and people and having to get people to understand like the concept that, like you knew me as female, but I'm not female, and they're just very stuck into, it's like if someone knows you for a very long time and they get a picture of your, like who you are as a person, and they think that you're a certain way, they tend to just like think that you're always going to be like that and not understand, like it doesn't even have to do with transitioning, like people can get preconceived ideas of other people, and people, because they knew me as a female, they can't really look at me as a male, and people when they find out will go from like viewing me as a guy to viewing me as like, oh well, you were born female. So that's the most frustrating part. Like the majority of people are born, they feel that they're fine with whatever birth sex that they are. So we have to, it takes a bit longer for us to like go through certain life things and process them, because we have to go through all of this process as well at the same time. I was under the assumption now, because there's been so much coverage and there have been documentaries recently, that pretty much everyone knew like at least something about trans people, but like there's a lot of people that don't know anything. So I guess to get rid of some of those like preconceived ideas of what we're like, and we're just people.